From creatures in the sea, now just creatures all over the place. Here we go. Here are the top 10 unsettling creatures that might not be from this planet, aka they're very scary. Let's do it. Kicking off the list at number 10, a Carnotaurus. Okay, when I watched Disney's Dinosaur, that movie, when I was younger in theaters, straight up cried when this dude came out. Way too scary. I was not ready for that. Nobody was ready in the theater. Even adults were like, oh my god. And neither were the animals that had the misfortune of crossing this thing's path 69 million years ago when it was still alive. 69 million years. Nice. They were around the same size as a T-Rex, coming in at around 29 feet long, or tall, whatever this is. But they're nicknamed meat-eating bulls. That's terrifying. Yeah, they would run at about 25 miles an hour. They're one of the fastest and largest moving theropods to ever live. Its arms were smaller than a T-Rex, hilariously, but honestly, it didn't matter. This one had horns, so it was good. It would just headbutt everything. That's it. Hence the meat-eating bull alias, right? Fitting name. It was discovered in 1984 by Jose Bonaparte in Argentina. They've only discovered one skeleton of these things, so hopefully there weren't too many of these roaming around because, again, so scary. Number 9, the Helicoprion. Perhaps one of the weirdest sea creatures to ever exist, 250 million years ago that is. This thing looks a lot like a shark, but now scientists know that it was more related to chimeras, which is a fish that separated from the shark family 400 million years ago. That's a pretty powerful day. You know what, we're just not gonna be in your family anymore. We're just not a shark. Today we go this way. Today we swim this way. This 25-foot-long fish, not a shark, was first discovered by Andrzej Zarpinski back in Russia in 1889. He got the name Helicoprion because, well, it translates to spiral saw. Fitting name. This guy found teeth fossilized in a spiral formation. He must have been scratching his head for weeks. Paleontologists all agree today that this was not part of a fin. It wasn't a wacky spinal cord, but rather it was teeth. Teeth coiled up that was attached to the lower jaw of the fish, and its grasp was the same power roughly to that of a crocodile. So yeah, new teeth would form and then get bigger and better and scarier. And in turn, these spirals would get longer and longer. Adult fish would have 4 rotations in their mouth. 4 rows of teeth. Can you imagine? I thought wisdom teeth sucked. Every year he's like, oh, another row. Number 8, the devil frog. Catching frogs was one of my favorite ways to pass the time as a kid, but 68 million years ago, if I saw a frog, I would have to run very fast, far away from it. Because frogs were scary back then, as was everything. The devil frog would leave you without a nose. Possibly a head. It was a lot bigger than frogs today, as most of these things are, and it was on average the same size as a beach ball. And they lived on the island of Madagascar, pretty much. They thrived there because not many dinosaurs could get to the island. Little devil paradise, just white claws all over the place. They were having a great time. They looked like beach balls, they acted like beach balls. They just, all pleasure, no business. Those guys are crazy. Its bite is similar to that of a wolf or tiger. But recently, however, researchers found a fossil of the devil frog, and they believe that it once had spikes and even a turtle-like shell. Yeah, as if the devil frog couldn't get any cooler, now you gotta add spikes into the picture. Thing looks like an evil dude in Super Mario. I wanna just stomp on it already. The only dangerous frog we have today really is the horned frog, which is a lot smaller, but even so, it can still take off your finger. It's not the size of a beach ball, maybe the size of a deflated beach ball, but. Number 7, dire wolves. Around 10,000 years ago, dire wolves were still roaming the land. Yes, they were real, and yes, they were beautiful. If you watch Game of Thrones, you're probably nodding your head right now, or you're getting tissues. Spoilers. Canis dirus comes in at around the same size as a gray wolf, so it's not mega, it doesn't have 3 heads or anything insane, but it did weigh a lot more than our furry friends today. It was eating good back in the day. Their jaws were of course much stronger, so crushing up animal bones was never really a problem. They would actually hunt down and eat horses. Yeah, how violent would that be? After studying their teeth for so long, that was their go-to snack. Horses, what do you know? Currently, if you're in the market for seeing hundreds of dire wolf skulls, head to the Page Museum in Southern California. They found so many skulls in the tar pits, so plenty of history there. Dire wolves and saber-toothed cats would also get stuck in these tar pits, and then depending on who stuck that day, the latter would come along and then eat them. And then, unbeknownst to them, they were also walking into their similar fate. That's why there's so many skulls in the one pit, in case you were wondering. Number 6, Therizinosaurus. Wait, there is or there isn't? Because that name is misleading, my friend. No, they've been dead for 75 million years. They're for sure gone. There is no Saurus anymore. They were also known as the reaping lizard, and it was first discovered in 1948, and it could grow up to 10 meters long and weighed about 5 tons. But the feature that really stood out the most on this big, long-necked, raptor-looking dinosaur was its hands. Its massive claws. This thing's got baseball mitts for hands. Could you imagine? Look at this. Those hands are way too big for that body. He looks like a sports fan. This is where the Greeks got the name Therizino. It means to reap or to cut off. This was the Freddy Krueger of animal. Therizino. Therizino. Thankfully, its choice of meal was always a salad, so it didn't shred up animals unless it had to in self-defense. The first fossil was discovered in the late 1940s from a Soviet-Mongolian fossil expedition. They found the claws first, and for about 10 years they didn't know what it belonged to, which is kind of hilarious to me. It wasn't until the early 50s until they found more bones, and then eventually the pieces of the puzzle fit together, and they realized it wasn't a turtle. That was their first guess. They thought it was a big old turtle. Nope, way scarier. Number 5, pink hippos. You may be thinking, wait a minute Taylor, hippos that are pink? That sounds like a lovely creature. What is this about? Yeah, you'd think, right? Do you have any idea how fast a hippopotamus is in real life? I sure didn't until I saw this. Check this out. Yeah, that's straight up Jurassic Park. Surprisingly quick for the third largest type of land mammal. But even so, in a setting like this, they're hard to spot. That is until they come charging at you at full speed, the size of a minivan, then they're a bit easier to see. They're hard to see unless they're pink. Those are always fun. Yeah, we have a fun little halfway point here for number 5. Pink hippos are the exact same as regular hippos, except, well, yeah, they're pink. At first people will think, oh, maybe it's albino, maybe it's a rare shiny Pokemon in the wild. We love those, we love albino animals. Nope, the pink hippo is actually leucistic, meaning the pigmentation of their cells don't quite develop properly. In many animals, this can pose a huge risk, obviously. It's harder to blend in and therefore survive. But because of the size of this hippo and that clip we just saw, it's not really an issue for hippos if they're pink or not. They'll eat you regardless. They're land mammals, but they spend so much time in the water because these little fatties sunburn so easily. Pink or not, they're always running to the water to cool down. Now I want a house hippo. What's wrong with me? Number 4, Megapiranha. Megapiranha sounds like a Marvel Comics villain from the 70s. Are these real? Are you kidding me? Growing up, I thought piranhas would be way more of an issue, to be honest. I was like, are they in every lake or like some lakes? Which lakes are they in? Let's close those lakes. But I'm glad it's not really an issue. Those guys suck. And Megapiranhas, well, they were not great. For starters, they were much bigger than today's piranhas. They came in at around 1 meter long. They ruled the waters surrounding Argentina, so 6 million years ago, you wouldn't be taking any late night skinny dips in that area. I'll tell you that for free. Its bite force was 50 times its own weight, which is scary for a 30-pound fish. Like doing math in my head, I'm like, oh, deadly, that's very deadly. Yeah, that's a little jarring, I'd say. Its bite can out-chomp Megalodon, who I may or may not mention in a little bit. Even today, the word piranha instills fear. Our modern day black piranha weighs 2 pounds, but still, its razor sharp teeth and bite force is still deadly. They've made way too many piranha movies now, like it's just a scare. Piranha 3DD, the 3D glasses. If you saw that movie in theaters, shame. Shame on you. Go get a refund, 6 years late. Number 3, the Bulldog Rat. I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad the Bulldog Rat is extinct. I'm all for saving animals and stuff, don't get me wrong. Like, we'll bring the mammoth back, sure, if we can. Let's try it, sure. But the Bulldog Rat? Nope, stay over there, my friend. Description aside, already sounds terrible. First of all, they were way larger than our black rats. The Bulldog Rat was last seen around 1903. Ironically, the same year speedwalking was introduced to the Olympics. What a coincidence. Someone's like, oh, I'm leaving this thing. That's the terrifying, I'm never seeing this again. I'm out of here. They have 2 to 3 centimeters of fat on their backs with short tails and thick hair, so really gross to look at. Yeah, a rat with thick hair. No, I don't like rats as is, sorry. If you're a rat person, that's great. I love animals again, but rats are not for me. Ugh. When they know tricks, I don't like when a rat knows tricks. Despite this thing not sounding holly and or jolly, its home was that of Christmas Island in the Indian Ocean. Sailors were responsible for this extinction. When they pulled up to the island, Christmas Island, all they brought with them was not toys or goodness. All they brought with them to the island was just disease. So it took less than 2 years to wipe out an entire rat species, all because they arrived. They're like, oh, look, a rat. Oh, they're gone. We're gross. Number 2, Thylacosmilus. I'll never forget, last summer I was getting onto a bus and I saw a real-life opossum just sitting near the stop, and I had no idea what I was looking at. I was thinking about it all day. No idea. It had like a human face. It was like a big rat. It was all pale. He looked tired and angry, and he was like slowly looking at me. I was expecting him to get on the bus with me as well. I'm not gonna lie, it was odd. But marsupials, millions of years ago, even weirder. That would have been a very bad time for me, that experience. Thylacosmilus, first of all, a way better name than opossum, looks a lot like a saber-tooth, but it's really a cousin to our marsupials today. Its name translates to terrible pouch knife, and Honestly, great nickname. It used to live in what's now South America. Elmer Riggs discovered the remains of such a beast back in the 1920s, but only recently we've now figured out it wasn't related to a cat, despite its teeth. Its teeth are intimidating, don't get me wrong, but this was just a big marsupial. And finally, number 1, Megalodon. Yep, this thing was very real. Louis Agassiz discovered the Megalodon shark for the first time back in 1843. He was a Swiss-born American naturalist and geologist, and he discovered some amazing details about glacier activity and extinct fish. He's brilliant. He's historically a key aspect to all these lists that we do, really. But one of those extinct fish that he found just happened to be the tooth shark, aka Megalodon. It lived everywhere in the world but Antarctica, really, so you were screwed. It favored warm oceans, but similar to a great white, it generates heat when it moves, so it can survive most places, even if it's a little chilly. The largest recorded Megalodon came in at 59 feet, but the same length as a bowling alley. So if this thing were alive today, no chance Jason Statham could take it out. Or his weird underwater darts, I don't know. Its 7-foot wide jaws had plenty of trunk space for a swimmer, and its 5 rows of razor sharp teeth ensured that it didn't get out. Yeah, horrifying. We don't want anything. This is why I don't swim in lakes. I'm like, maybe it's back. Maybe it's where it lives today. Those were the top 10 unsettling creatures that might not be from this planet. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters, and I'll see you next time, hopefully for a part 2. You know what to do. Bye. Oh, I need water. Oh, God. Yeah, this is old water. Opossums are so weird. They're like human faces. They look so judgy. They're like,